exit cave will probably be below some kind of swamp if it's mud.
Well, that's fine. All the uranium is just going to be collected magically with science. So.
Oh, we don't know what D is.
Fuck, that was too early.
It's a dirt face, so... Is that the one? Oh, gosh.
Gesundheit.
Still working on me. It was. Brainiac. Of course we'd be looking for that word.
Gosh, I need to set up a new one for this already. The actual way to automate this would be way better.
Gloomy is this word.
Makes sense. It's gonna be a dark, radioactive cave.
Okay, that's another. Where's the cave compendium? Because one just makes the map.
Oh, it's raining. Oh, you got kicked out again.
Throw. Okay, I guess I'm restarting the computer.
I guess so. That's unfortunate.
Oh wait, that means the server's not gonna work anymore. Duh. Me just playing like doo 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 doo. I wonder what she'll start first. I hope it's Mumble so that she can talk me through what she's doing. In the meantime,
Okay, a small Coke and one Skittle, that'll be $90.
Hey, I brought this too, is that okay?
Oh, well, I don't see why not. Hey, motherfucker! Put your hands behind your fucking back right now,
In a world where the lead role is a woman who says fuck in every scene.
Excuse me, I just have to get my,
Bitch, where's my seat? Oh, I gotta find my seat!
Okay, a small Coke and one Skittle, that'll be $90.
I simply just don't buy things when I go to the movie theater. I just get a ticket and leave. Why would I even buy popcorn at the movie theater? Ah, right. I need to be doing it in here. There it goes. Then the question is, how do I actually affix this thing? I probably want it to be like this big. Perfect. Then I want the title popping up. Forget how I set that up. Some kind of script. I don't know where it is. It's gonna be in here somewhere. Actually, yeah, like this is the way, isn't it? It's like, go to this here. Hi. Hi, he said to no one in particular. And she's gone. And she's back. Hi. Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me? I see. I found it funny that I was just like playing on the I just was playing on the server and you disconnected and I'm just like doop de doop de doo, keep doing whatever I'm doing, doop de doop de doo. Oh, you restarted the computer. server is not going to work no more.
What? Were you talking to me?
Oh, yeah. I was like, when you restarted the computer, it took me a second before I remembered that obviously that means that the server will be gone.
Yeah, I didn't even restart the bitch. Sorry, fuck.
Bienvenue sur le mon serveur, les noobs. I'm looking at the public servers now.
Don't do it, don't do it.
Bienvenue sur le mon serveur, les noobs.
Server for you.
Matthew les bougies. There's only 3 public servers, but there are public servers, and they're just open. It's weird. I kind of want to play this French one, though. What was I doing? Oh, yeah.
Hello, it's Scott Manley here. This had been looking like a great week for Blue Origin, right up until 9 PM East Coast time, when their latest New Glenn booster exploded during a test firing. So this footage is from NASA Spaceflight, their Space Coast live stream. They had cameras at the site, and they caught it. They caught it from a bunch of different angles. And if you want to watch all their angles, you can go and watch their stream. I just want to talk about what I see here and what are the implications, because while this looks like a fairly big explosion, its effects are far beyond the fireball that we are witnessing. So let's put the situation in perspective. Back in April, we had the launch of New Glenn Flight number 3. This was with the booster Never Tell Me the Odds. And while the booster operated flawlessly, there was a problem with the upper stage. That problem resulted in the payload from AST Space Mobile being deployed into a useless orbit and deorbiting soon afterwards. The FAA asked for an investigation because if the upper stage didn't relight its engines correctly, it could result in it being deorbited in the wrong location. That investigation closed just last week. The conclusion was that it was a propellant leak, which resulted in a hydraulic valve not operating correctly and resulted in lower thrust from one of the engines.
Oh, no.
In the meantime, Blue Origin's rocket factory had delivered its next booster. No, it's necessary, a reference, of course, to Interstellar. So Blue Origin had been expecting the investigation to be closed, and they were prepared for a rapid return to flight. The goal, I think, was maybe first few days of June. The payload for this flight was going to be a...
How's that server coming along?
batch of satellites for Amazon's LEO constellation, and this was going to be the first really heavy payload that New Glenn was going to launch. The 48 satellites are expected to weigh just under 30 tons, which is still a long way short of the 45-ton payload that was promised by New Glenn, but it's a bit more than what Falcon 9 does with Starlink. So this new booster was mated with an upper stage and was loaded onto the transporter erector and rolled out to the pad in preparation with a test fire. Now, Blue Origin didn't tell anyone exactly when to expect it, but just before 9 PM it was fully fueled, we saw the deluge system start, and then ignition. In previous static fires, we didn't see any fire like that, never mind a giant fireball, and an even bigger fireball which overloaded the sensor, which faded to reveal a giant fireball. Whatever happened, it appears the tanks ruptured very quickly, the propellant was dispersed, and, we essentially have over 1,000 tons of liquid oxygen and methane burning together, producing a mushroom cloud, and this is like at least 1 kiloton yield. It's big enough to produce a classic mushroom cloud, which disappeared up into the clouds and even showed up on a weather radar. Now, the good news is that soon after we found out that everyone was accounted for, nobody was injured, everyone was at a safe distance because this was an incredibly violent event. The bad news is this is going to have effects far beyond Blue Origin. So yeah, Blue Origin were anxious to return to flight to get their rocket going because they have a whole bunch of things they need to fly. And their customer, Amazon in this case, they are working against a deadline to fill out their constellation so that they can actually start up.
Kayla? Oh, okay. Have you seen anything about Blue Origin, Blue Origin's rocket exploding? It apparently happened like, what is it, yesterday or 2 days ago or something? Blue Origin is the space company that's owned by the Amazon owner, Jeff Bezos. Jeffrey Bezos! He's got his own space company, basically. Every billionaire wants their own space company now. Just a gigantic explosion happened in a rocket test. Like, Everyone's okay. No one's injured or died or anything, but there's like a test rocket that they were trying to launch. They're like basically everyone's trying to solve the question of propulsion. Like, how are we gonna have a cheap, reproducible propulsion into space, especially one that we can then land and take off again and all that. And so there's just constant rocket tests. They're very expensive, and sometimes they fail. And this one failed spectacularly on the landing pad, like on the launch pad. Like, it didn't even go anywhere. It's just a gigantic mushroom cloud when it exploded. It's just oxygen and methane, just poof. Huge, huge explosion. If you like explosions, you should check that shit out. Especially since everyone was okay, it makes it even better. Ah, server's up. Cool. What, like loading the game? Yeah, no, I get that too. Oh, weird. I've gotten that every time. When I launch the game, whether or not it's the first time, yeah, I get that every time. Not responding and shit. It depends on what the recommended settings is. Like, sometimes the recommended settings is just like a conservative thing, but there's no real need to be conservative when you're not doing anything super, yeah, super heavy on your PC, and it's just a game, you know, just that one game. Give it as much RAM as it needs. Haha. I've hooked up this damn Certus Quartz thing, and now I'm just addicted to running around and breaking it. It's just so much. It's just like a whack-a-mole thing I've just put in my wall. Oh, yeah, there it goes. That's a great question. I wish I had an answer. What does it say? If it says words. So there are some words on there? Okay. Yeah, I really think we should just, probably today would be the right day to just go ahead and do it, would be to just install fucking Linux on your PC so that there's just not this Windows problem layer going on. Windows has just been a problem layer. It's really painful. Use the desktop resolution, but I don't think that the resources should be a problem at all. I think, if anything, my guess would be that there's something to do with the Java environment on the computer, since you've got to like install a thing of Java to launch Minecraft the first time when you run it, when you install Windows. And Java is usually where pain happens when I'm installing Minecraft. Release is preferred. I prefer release. I gotta stop. What should VSync? Eh, that's a complicated question, but I think in your case probably not. Like it's not gonna hurt anything, I don't think, but I don't think it's really needed either. Right. Yeah, it's like it's a good setting for quality, but it's also possible that it does use more resources than you want. Yeah, sometimes it's like it's not. I don't know much about how it works exactly. I just know that in some cases it takes way more resources than you want it to use. And taking more resources than you want means that the rest of the computer has less, which means that stuff goes slow and stuff. Oh right, I was like all geared up to go on a journey last time. Right. I'm like trying to take inventory of what the hell I have, and I'm like, what is all this stuff? I'm like, oh yeah, I was ready for a trip. Do I have a thing to undo this? Is that the right idea, or should I do something else? Fingers crossed. Goodness gracious. It's not even on. Wait, shush. Shush you. Talking, responding to me when I say things. How dare you? Because, you don't have Wi-Fi, you're on the Ethernet. And also, we are in we are in the U.S. It wouldn't be that anyway. That's all local network. I don't know. Did it crash again already? Okay. Well, let me take a moment. Let me take a moment and go Google some stuff. Let me see. Google. I reinstalled Windows and now Minecraft crashes. Missing graphics drivers, that's a possibility. I don't think I ever did that. Download some NVIDIA graphics drivers and see if that helps. What you want to do is go to Google search Windows 11 NVIDIA drivers. Because I certainly did not do that. That is something I definitely forgot. Yep. You're looking for a download for GeForce Experience is probably the something that it would tell you about. Does it tell you? Do you see that? Sounds good. Go for that. Yeah, that's like an app that you can download that keeps track of the drivers, but maybe that official thing that you're looking at is what's going to install that. So that would be what I would give a shot to do. Unfortunately, I can only see you when you do Minecraft stuff, so I can't help you with this visually. I guess we could set that up so I can be watching you. Sounds good. Once that downloads, it's going to have to install. When it installs, it'll probably tell you you need to restart your computer, or it might not tell you you need to restart when you install the app. It's not supported by this installer. Alright, I'm coming. Thanks, Windows, for shitting the bed on everyone's computer. fact that you had no graphics driver at all, it's very likely a good cause, a good possibility as to why this is happening. It sure does, especially when you don't have a single way for your computer to know how to use the fucking visual card. Okay, that should be better. We'll see.
We'll see. That work.
Just watching the goblin trader run around in my base. Like, bro, go home. Right. Oh, I'm gonna get kicked off at some point anyway because the computer has to restart after that. Did that just happen? That might have been literally what just occurred in this exact second that I noticed it. Like a goddess woman, take your silver spoon, dig your grave. Bam, 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 bam,
Operating it, start having customers, and not have to negotiate again to retain the frequencies that they have acquired. Amazon have also been using Falcon 9, Vulcan, and Ariane 6, but we all know Vulcan is sort of down for the count right now. Falcon 9 is limited because they really only have one East Coast launch site now, and they have only one barge. Ariane 6, it's never been the swiftest piece of hardware. AST Space Mobile is also in a similar situation. They were going to be relying on New Glenn to launch a bunch of their satellites, and now they're going to have to find somewhere else to do that, and the capacity isn't really there. And let's not forget that ULA's Vulcan is using the BE-4 engines, which were certainly proximate to this particular failure. They may not be responsible, but it's not entirely unreasonable to expect that Vulcan might have some extra downtime due to this event. Blue Origin's launch site, Slick 36, is going to have to be rebuilt. We've seen one of the lightning towers has already been knocked down. I'm pretty sure the transporter erector is destroyed. They will need another one of those. They'll probably need to rebuild a lot of their ground equipment. And the only other booster they have is sitting in that building at the bottom left. It is entirely possible that while Never Tell Me the Odds wasn't being tested, that it could still have been damaged by this event. Now, many of you will remember that SpaceX, when they had a booster explode on the pad, they were able to investigate the problem and get flying again within like 4 months or so. However, that hides the fact that that explosion happened on pad Slick 40, and when they returned to flight, they were able to do that on pad 39. It took them well over a year to get launches going back from Slick 40 again. Now, earlier in the week, Blue Origin were celebrating the fact that they had got 2 new lunar landing missions for their Blue Moon Mark 1 lander. These were both missions to deliver rovers to the moon in advance of Artemis 4. Prior to this, there's supposed to be 2 launches of Blue Moon Mark 1 to demonstrate its capabilities and then take the Viper rover to the moon. Blue Moon can't launch on anything else. It's too big for anyone else's fairings and it's too heavy. And of course, they were really hoping to have their HLS demonstrator in orbit next year in time for Artemis 3. What this is saying basically, with a potential 1-year stand down on New Glenn, that knocks a big hole in possible Artemis plans. There will still be CLPS missions flying, and the Moonfall drones, those will fly on a Falcon 9 with a Firefly's, Elytra stage. But with many months of a stand down, a return to flight for New Glenn, and of course multiple test flights of the Mark 1, it's not clear that they will necessarily have all the assets in place that they want for the planned lunar landing in 2028. So anyway, let's go back and actually take a look at the footage to see if there's anything that we notice, anything that's worth talking about. So I actually rewound the camera to just beforehand. This is like running at 4 times speed, just so you can see there is a lot of condensation coming off that rocket. They have loaded a bunch of propellant onto this. Some people said that this was a combination test and a wet dress rehearsal. We don't know exactly how much propellant was loaded onto the rocket, but we do know that a fully fueled New Glenn is over like 1,300 tons. Now, from this side, we can't actually see most of the rocket because we have the transporter erector in its way. This is another angle from earlier in the day. So going from the left, you can see the white building, which has the boosters, where they're integrated with the upper stages. To the right of that is the reinforced lightning tower. To the right of that, we have the booster on its transporter erector. Again, we can't see it because it's on the far side of that. To the right of that, we have the other lightning tower, which isn't quite as strong. You can see a flare stack. And then there's a water tower, which is used to drive the deluge system. And right on the very right there, you can see the lighthouse. So now, going back to just before the event, the camera zoomed in a bit so you can't see the lighthouse, but you can see those towers on either side with the red lights that are used to show aircraft where they are. Now, just before the engines fire, they're going to activate the water deluge system, so if you look down the base, you will see a large amount of water mist come in as we reach, like, T0. By the way, I'm running this at 1/4 speed. There we go, you see all that water coming up? And then we get this very, very bright flash. And I freeze-framed it at exactly that moment. Now, on a previous test fire, which NASA Spaceflight also shot, we did not see anything bright like that. So the moment that we saw any light coming out of those engines was the moment that something was definitely going wrong. Now, to be clear, that light might just actually be getting scattered by the deluge system, but at a certain point, this is clearly getting out of control and propagating up the rocket. It is something that's happening very quickly. And now I want to freeze frame this moment because you can see there is a bright spot that has appeared near the top of the rocket. Now, some people said that they think this is the second stage starting to explode. I'm not convinced because I think what's really happening is that there's just essentially a wall of fire or whatever between the booster and the transporter erector, and we simply can't see it until it reaches that high. Now, I even wondered whether there would be propellant in the second stage. You know, why would you fuel a second stage for a first stage test? Well, you know, if this is a wet dress rehearsal, it might make sense to actually load that up. And certainly having the second stage fuel of...
Okay. I can't with this. This is completely outrageous what has occurred. Just do a Google on that too, like OBS browser plugin process using 100 gigs of memory. What the fuck? Hello. Woof. That's a lot. That is a lot. Log in to redeem what? I don't know. Log in for what? Oh, I have a login for it, but I don't usually sign into it because it's a pain in the ass to even bother with. Why is it instantly using 95 virtual gigs of memory? What the fuck? That makes no sense at all.